Welcome back to another adventure. Okay, today I'm in the Mercedes. Why? 944 is broke. It broke yesterday. It broke at 5,700 RPMs as I was shifting to third. Very scared that it was an oil issue. It was not. Actually, I was able to get it started again, and after a couple more stalls, I made it to work. This video is going to detail what exactly happened, how I found out what it was, all the fun that I enjoyed yesterday, and hopefully it'll also detail today as I go at lunchtime to pick up the things I need to avoid a tow charge. Stay tuned. So here I am in the parking lot trying to go ahead and remove this coil. I'm showing you basically where I'm at. As you can see, I'm actually moving the power steering out of the way. I already pre-loosened that area so then I can pull out the connectors for that coil. Everything has been basically removed at this point. There's the old coil right there. And so now I'm going to go down and grab the new one, $118 from O'Reilly's. And we're going to go ahead and install that. We're going to pay attention to which polarity, which side those should actually connect into. And as we can see here, it actually marks very clearly which side is positive and which side is negative. Remember, green and black mean different things over in Germany, so pay particular attention to how that should be connected. And so here should be my victory dance. Oh yeah, I got everything reconnected. We should be good to go to start the car. No, the tach wasn't bouncing, so we're on to the next troubleshooting. That didn't work. These are not supposed to have dents in them. Something went wrong. But I'm taking them out and replacing them. These are the reference sensors. These basically tell your engine, hey, the starter is turning the flywheel, and since it's turning, once it goes above 400 RPMs, the ECU, or the computer brain, basically tells the fuel pump to cut on, supply fuel to the fuel rail, and also the coil to spark and then go to this distributor so that your spark plugs have fire. So these are very important, and it looks like definitely one's pretty bad off. The other one actually looks like it's been scratched too. So we got two new ones. Okay, so a lot of different instructions, places that you get information from will tell you that you can remove your reference sensors while this bracket is still installed. It's actually installed this way in correlation to the engine. That is pretty hard if you have reference sensors that have been in this car since it originally was built, and that was the case with me. So yeah, pulling up from the top on those wasn't budging at all. So I went ahead and removed the bracket itself. There's actually two different holes there that actually go into the mounting spot. They're both 6mm bolts. One at the bottom, one at the top. You have to use an Allen. 6mm Allen bolts to do that. So I removed that first. It made it a lot easier. They were still super stuck in there, and so I had to go through a lot of work to get them out. Basically, I had to break the top head of it off, and then once I did, I kind of had to take this right here and punch through to push it through. You can do it either way, pretty much. The hole is, as you can see here, pretty consistent through and through. I was trying to be very careful not to bang on this too much and tear it up. I might have mallet it up a little bit, but it's okay. But yeah, I'm just trying to find a piece of it to kind of show you what I mean. But I mean, like, look at this right here. You can see some of the work I had to do. This is one part of it. It was not budging, not with WD-40 or PB Blaster. So I had to bust it out that way. So now let's get these new ones installed and see what we got. Here they are installed. I need to tighten them down a little bit more, but that's about how it goes in. Again, it's going to sit in just like this. Then I'm going to route these back up. Now I want you to notice a few things really quickly. How much I had to take apart just to get my arms and hands around where I need to get. So if you look here, I have taken off my air box, for instance. If you look back here, I have a few more parts, things missing, which is one is my bracket that holds everything together right here. That bracket normally sits right within here, kind of like that. I also have, this is to my coolant. that's actually taken off from right down here. I talked about that in another video. It all just gives me more hand space to write down here. Now I have, hold on, I'm going to put some more light on this. Now, I have something these gloves kind of in the way right now because those are gaping holes, and if you're dealing with screws at any point, you don't want to drop your screws down into that area of your bell house because it'll be very difficult to get back up. But the holes are right underneath that glove there. I'm going to drop this back in, and then I'm going to go ahead and try to start mounting everything back up, and we'll see what we got. So again, I'm going to show you guys which side you should be mostly doing this on. This is the easiest technique. I can't get to it from the other side. My forearms are pretty bigger, so I just don't have a lot of space to go up behind there that way to try to get in. So I'm on, as you notice, the passenger side here. I take my Allen key, and this is more putting the bracket back on. I put it in like this right here, and as you notice from this angle, I have a lot more space to get my hand in. I can't really show you that well from there, but we put this in here, and then you see now I have this is a little bit of the fluid actually coming up from my coolant. But you see here, you have your top, and down there, right underneath that sensor is the bottom. You'll be able to get your hand around here and fit it. This is not my favorite job. I'll repeat, this is not my favorite job. I hate this. Again, I'm going to tell you, cover up those holes. You do not want that screw right there falling into that hole right there into your bell house where your flywheel and stuff is. It's terrible. I remember the first time I did this, I actually was very inexperienced. I had to take the whole hood off the car. I was sitting on the hood, and I had two extensions reversed down the opposite way. I've learned a lot since then. I'm passing that on to you guys, but let's see what happens next. Now we're going to reattach our heater control valve hose, and we're going to move this thing over, push it back down, and over this right here. All right, I'm going to get the rest of the stuff installed, including the bracket, but you want to make sure all hoses, all these right here are tied back in properly. It goes into this nipple back here. You can't see it. Hold on. So welcome back. As you can see, I am now in my garage. She made the journey here safely. This was quite a journey, to be honest with you. I went from thinking, oh my goodness, catastrophic engine failure, because I lost all power and the engine cut out at 5,500 RPMs as I was getting ready to shift into third gear. I thought maybe this is oil, maybe I lost oil pressure, maybe something went bad, and that wasn't the case. To limping to work, to leaving my car at work for a couple of days while I got a new ignition coil, which turned out not to be the issue at all. So I totally woofed. I woofed on that one. Sorry, guys. But that happens to the best of us. The important thing is I was able to avoid the tow charge, and I was able to get the car back to the shop. I limped it home, and it worked. You know, she's been good so far. She hasn't made me tow her once. Knock on wood. You know, that's really great. But the thing about it is, after that, as you saw in this past video, what did we do? We went ahead and replaced those reference sensors. Why is that so important? Really brief if you don't already know. The reference sensors are important because as the starter turns the teeth on the flywheel there that it's connected to, something has to tell the DME that that's actually occurring. And the DME then will turn on the fuel pump, and then it'll also turn on the ignition coil that, of course, goes to a distributor cap and gives spark to each one of your spark plugs. Now, those two sensors, one is a top dead sensor reference, so it lets it know what the position of the engine is. And the other one is obviously the revolutions per minute. It tells how fast it's spinning, because if you're not spinning at 400 RPMs at least, I think it's either between 200 or 400 RPMs, don't quote me on that, then the system, of course, does not cut on the fuel pump, and the ignition coil does not get turned on. That's a safety measure, because in the case of an accident, the car won't continue to spit out fuel and then catch on fire even worse. So that's why you want to think about that in particular when you're troubleshooting. You think, okay, if I'm turning, Big thing to pay attention to is my tach bouncing, the tachometer. If it's not bouncing at all, that means there's something between the reference sensors and the DME. Also, I showed you how far apart I had the engine. It's because of the size of my hands and I can't really get in there tightly. You might find a better way to do it. But of course, don't be afraid to take things out the way because you'll get super frustrated and take so much longer if you're trying to cram your hands in small areas. So yeah, so that's it. Also, one last thing. If for some reason it doesn't work after you install brand new sensors, flip the connectors. Sometimes they're off wrong. I did that. I thought, oh my goodness, I woofed again and I'm wrong again. But I took a second, I flipped them over and the car started and it's been running fine ever since. So I hope this helps you guys out. I hope this was informational and again, it encourages you to take on your next project. Take care.